secret to you and I. In a them, yeah. In a them, yeah. In a them, yeah. That is a secret to you and I. In a them, yeah. Get them on the field, shake on your busy crew. Everyone looking like I am busy grow. Everyone gather from country and town to see the Ethiopian king. Them wait till the field till I didn't touch the rain can't come. The rainbow come out and the doves fly up to see Ethiopian king. In a them, yeah. In a them, yeah. That is a secret to you and I. In a them, yeah. In a them, I give thanks to the Creator. I shine two songs and light up on me express. So let me tell you something, my neighbor. Me have the best weed in Jamaica. So let's come together and light up on me express. Cause marijuana is and drug is if I push me, we don't want no. Marijuana be because you are and drug be oh, your man. We don't think that go better when we start to turn over. I don't care if Babylon don't like it. One time we walk over it like a knife. The devil never gets that fight God Almighty. The rest of them in a situation, they don't trust me. So they fight me to touch on Bob Marley. You know the music to the country and sit up and sleep. Who send up the airport? Who send up the beach? Who a pressure poor people make no food now eat? How rape a little girl and gun her in the street? So them you train a gunman and they got them in a street. Round and the easy man a chop like this. Bloody city, bloody traffic, city, bloody street. And this part of campus is free. Eternal fire. Them sell out the district, them sell out the street. I pressure poor people make no food now eat. Who rape a little girl, wandering on the street. Some son boy a love it, some little boy a freak. Round here no easy boy a drop like leaf. Bloody city, bloody town, me a bloody street. But the streets here me a big of streets. Eternal fire, eternal fire. Look what we go take when them still from retire. Eternal fire, eternal fire. Look what we tell police here we and they are. Eternal fire, eternal fire. Look what we go take when them still from retire. Eternal fire, eternal fire. Look what we tell. Oh my God, I'm waiting for that. You mean a fire? Welcome to the city, but I'm not showing a big thing. City life and everything and shine bright. Politicians, they not feel no bit and I keep them. Banana, never man. Yeah, me no fight. Banana, never man. Yeah, me no fire. I come to the city, but I'm not showing a big thing. City life and everything and shine bright. Politicians, them a paint a bit and I pick up the ball. Don't you dance in a ghetto with no pretty. Gunshot a echo in a distance.
Hey, oh, I missed whistle. But the equipment arrives on Tuesday. So next week should be another completely different thing from the north coast of the rock. It's the third straight week of rice and peas and the back page. It's the Scotch bonnet pepper and the pepper pot soup that is the rush hour. ESPN 103.9 FM. When we get back in the studio as a pure guest, but with vaccinations available to all now, surely it won't be long. In the meantime, this here will do pretty nicely. Real quick, you're listening to the back page, of course. The highlight of every week that should be the rush hour on ESPN 103.9 FM in Palm Springs. I'm Old Matty, and real quickly, I'm going to discuss a couple of things that you knew were bad ideas when they were first proposed, and now we're all seeing just how bad those ideas really were. You know how down I am on men's golf right now, the state of it, men's professional golf, I should say, the state of it, the lack of compelling personalities, the fact that even mediocre players who have never even won a tournament and still have 5 properties in gated communities and fly on private jets, and its lack of progress when it comes to being inclusive and accessible. Now we're hearing some faux outrage about how some players don't want to play in the Olympics, and we got a problem with that. Why? What are we supposed to be mad at them about? The fact that they don't want to compete in another tournament when the only reward is resume padding? When the players who said they wanted to represent their country, when the concept, I should say, was first announced, you knew that they were only going to go so far. Trust me. Brooks Koepka is way more interested in green jackets than he is in Olympic gold. When the players, so when the world's best decide they're going to take a pass on the Olympics, none of us should be surprised. In fact, we should all be surprised that they were ever interested in it at all. Let's follow this trend through to the end. If you're going to end up with a golf competition in the Olympics that's like the soccer competition, one that's semi-interesting because it doesn't have the world's best players, sort of an under-23 golf championship, will a young up-and-comer win the gold? Probably, because the established pros won't be playing. So was it worth it to add golf to the Olympics? It was for Gil Hanse and maybe for the original medalists. But now, it's just another competition that's going to get in the way of the world's best playing 14 events a year, and you know that's all they want to play. If you look at it, you've got your 4 majors, you've got your 4 World Golf Championships, you've got the Tour Championship, the Players, the Arnold Palmer, the Memorial, Wells Fargo, and the Genesis Invitational. After that, if you're a top player, your schedule is full. That's all the travel they want. That's all the travel they need. That's all the money they need. And all the competition they need. And all the gold goes right into their pockets, not around their necks. Okay, bad idea number 2. The European Super League. You knew I wasn't going to leave this alone. This is, as my man Larry Bohannon pointed out, the latest effort to have a gated sports community within a gated sports community so that the riffraff outside the inner gate are sure to know exactly where they are and who they are in society and the community. Greg Norman wanted to do this in pro golf, remember? And the PGA Tour stepped in to neuter Norman and slag off his idea at first. Then they adopted the idea and blended it into their schedule. The thing is here, European soccer, we already have a Super League. It's called the Champions League, and you have to qualify for it through good performances. What happens the first time a Super League team isn't so super? Do the top six break off and form their own super duper league? When I first found out about the Super League idea through the eyes of a Tottenham supporter, my immediate first Spursy reaction was, why would Spurs be in a Super League? We struggle to qualify for Europe most years. And at this point, I'm obliged to remind you that Arsenal, another so-called Super League team, hasn't finished above Spurs in the English League for several years now. Not sure what's so super about them. The reason the Super League got shot down on takeoff are twofold. One, soccer's come a long way socially, but it's still a working class sport at its roots. And a Super League, by its very definition, is an exclusive club that wishes to pull up the ladder on any other club that might aspire to a super level. And the fan bases, supporters clubs, and ultras, they weren't having it, and still aren't. And their clubs have responded to this. The other is the aforementioned relationship with UEFA. In golf, the PGA Tour had the clout and the scheduling power to shove Norman aside and appropriate his World Golf Tour into their existing schedule and structure because it could. As I mentioned earlier, UEFA has nowhere to put the Super League on its schedule because they already have a Super League. And they'll use every ounce of their clout to extinguish this Super League effort and any other future attempt at a breakaway league of elites. They have the power on their side because they have the people on their side. There you go. Thoughts from the Rock and a springboard into the weekend. Let's always be thinking of good new ideas, but let's never be afraid to say this idea is not so good. And as they say back home, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the fix for the week. It's been the Back Page live from the Trial Club in Hanover, Jamaica, the Sugar Magnolia Villa under construction. And of course, it's the big fish in the sea that is the Rush Hour, ESPN 103.9 FM in Palm Springs, California. I'm Matt McKay. Thanks for hanging out again, and enjoy the whizzle. It'll be me on the controls next week. See you then, and let's go Dodgers.
It makes him a discillis. With true not circle round with you, you like a freak. I'm not no bitch for DJ, we're not just a big man. Message in the music is the only word for things we got the word. Don't the way you got no bitch for me. When you them people use you in the right way, you have the fun. What am I gonna do in that long? Night will always be on. You will the fire. Look at all that is wrong. And when we're one, it's the double overcome. That's how I get to them, a bond with you to come from. The aspects I get for them to start to restart. From the best of them just want to devour. When these the place to see to me, that's just so bizarre. When I say if they try to make hard and more cheap, it's all no we can't get too far. Worship possessions, house and jar. No, me not go wrong because I'm a young Mr. Shah. What am I gonna do and talk about? Don't they know? Night will always be on. They keep you the fire. Never know what's getting from. Oh gosh, where we're going. This is Them again. I see the body, not the rest from all the residents, come and we jump to them again.